guys, welcome to ShaansLogic. This is me, Shaan Naya, and I hope all of you are doing fine. I am happy fooling you. No, it isn't April, and I'm not pulling a April Fool's joke. This is how our guest speaker introduces himself. Happy fooling you. If I say that's the name of a clown, you would relate to it better, right? But what if I said Happy Fooling You is the name of a lieutenant commander of the Indian Navy? Unbelievable, right? But it's true. Today we are meeting the incredible retired lieutenant commander of the Indian Navy known as Pravin Tulpule, or Happy Fooling You. Mr. Tulpule found that spreading happiness is his calling. And how did he do that? We will find out from him soon. After seeking voluntary retirement, which means retirement without any pension or anything, from the fine services of the Indian Navy, Pravin Tulpule, a President's Gold Medal awardee, chose to become a clown to spread happiness and joy amongst those who are deprived of the same. And then and there, Happy the Clown was born to meet, entertain, and spread good cheer amongst patients in hospitals, children in orphanages or shelters, and senior citizens at the old age homes. He has been the happiness ambassador of a reputed multinational chain. He was engaged in spreading goodwill and trust through value-based edutainment capsules across the length and breadth of India. The MNC had put their brand on his trustworthy shoulders for over 20 years. He has been one of the most active performers those days, doing as many as 3,400 appearances in a year. And I mean, that just wow, it's amazing, right? How you can spend so much of your time spreading happiness and cheer amongst a whole lot of different people and get happiness from that. I mean, he's just an amazing person. And now we will meet Happy and learn more about him. Hello, Happy Fooling You. How are you today?
As always, happy. Happy is my name and happy I shall be. Come what may.
You look very different from your TED Talks that I've seen you before, and I see with the hair and everything. Yeah, you actually look like a Santa Claus, and it sticks to the theme, giving out happiness.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, actually, you got it right. You hit it on the target. This belongs to Santa Claus. I do play Santa Claus. I portray Santa Claus in the Christmas season. And this is again a gift of Corona. COVID.
Oh, yes.
Not to me, unfortunately, but since the salons were closed and shut down, last year I thought, let me grow the hair, and then after a couple of days I realized that if I actually grow it to about 10 to 12 inches of cuttable length, I can use it, I can donate it to a suitable NGO which will make a nice wig out of it to some children who have lost their hair, or some ladies or gentlemen who lost their hair due to radiation or chemotherapy.
Oh,
Even
I had a long
let's have
hair.
the best of the things. Oh, really? You
Yes,
would have
I
looked
had.
nice, of course.
Yeah, so I cut it off, after, the COVID cases, went down a bit.
I can understand.
Yes, yes. So to start off, the first question that I wanted to ask you, now I know like many
I'm always
people.
scared of questions.
Yes, even I am. Like, questions are absolutely terrifying. Yeah. So the first question, like, I know you might be experienced answering this because I guess many people must have asked you this before. So, but this is the main motivating part of the question. Like, how did it all start? Right. How did all of this start? You went from, being you are what, lieutenant general to
Commander.
commander. Yes, lieutenant commander to a clown. So it's shocking, right? And what motivated you?
Okay, so it obviously did not, though the trigger was overnight. The trigger was overnight, but the transformation did not take overnight. Fortunately for me, the build-up started right when I was around 13, 14 years of age. And that time I did not myself know that I would even join the Navy or the Air Force or the Army, or at one time take a right turn and get into clowning. Everything was a suspense for me, but like they say, destiny or something who continued to shape me. Things kept on happening. I started as a young boy magician when I was 13, 14 years of age. And like I thought I was the boss. There was nobody that I could not fool. I did a show. I'd collected some 15, 30 tricks by then. I put them all together, drew my mom and my brother out of the house for a day. My dad was posted out of station. The entire drawing room was mine. I became the magician, and whatever friends I could gather by selling tickets, I think 5 paisa and 10 paisa. I'm talking about 75
Okay.
or 76 perhaps. Drew them out, and whatever collection I had made myself, it was like more of a DIY magician. And I showed them all, and all the money that I had, nice about, I think 15, 18 rupees or something like that, I invested in a rubber stamp which said Magician Pravin. And then I went about stamping everything that did not move, I carried the stamp Magician Pravin. That stayed, not just the stamp, but that magic stayed with me through my school life, through my college life, and even my naval career. Navy was kind, though I had my other official duties to perform as a communication specialist, or even before as a non-specialist officer. I was always given a task of handling some entertainment for the unit. The unit's picnic, or the ship goes on an outing, or there's an evening get-together in the mess, or Children's Day, Navy Week celebrations. They always knew Pravin is there and he'll hold the mic, talk to people, show them some tricks, keep them busy, keep them amused. My friend, little did I know that subconsciously I was getting trained to be a magician. See, the Navy is a fantastic service. All the forces, the defense forces, are fantastic forces. Service, they don't just train you to be a soldier or to fight. They train you to be a man. They separate out the boys and the men, right? The wheat and the grain. They train you to hold a mic. They train you to talk to people extempore if required. They train you to hold an audience, and they don't let you waver from there. They make you a leader. At the same time, they also make you a person who can follow a leader. They need both, right? At times you are a leader, at times you are a follower, a part of the band. Kept on happening, and the change actually took place in the year 2000. The brainwave or the lightning thunderbolt or whatever hit me. Until then, I was, what does a magician do? A magician fools people. He's like that smart aleck, right? I can do this. I can do it right under your nose and you will not catch me. It's like an unspoken challenge. Not everybody likes it. Not everybody likes to be fooled all the time. Once in a while is okay. So I realized there's something wrong in perhaps my understanding of being an entertainer, a magician. Let me do something else. So I started thinking as to, can I do something where my magic fails? My magic doesn't happen. And unless I tell Shaan, can you tell me your favorite magic word? Or what's your favorite color? And if I say that favorite color, magic happens. Then what has happened is, the magic has happened. It's not because of me, it's thanks to Shaan. His magic word has worked. That makes you happy, right?
Yes, because
and
I feel
if I'm in a
included.
gathering, exactly. And if I'm sitting in a gathering or performing over a gathering, and a 5-year-old child comes and helps me do my magic, imagine how much happiness the parents get. That in front of a crowd of 300, that child was instrumental in making my magic work. Then I realized this can happen as a magician, but it would be better if I become a clown. But then I've got a legitimate reason to fail, my magic to fail. Okay, a clown, they don't expect a clown to be a very proficient magician. They expect him to be a bungling, awkward guy. So I started doing that. And this particular incident happened in the year 2000, somewhere toward the end of the year, where the entire neighborhood, my community, naval community, a few civilians that I knew at that time, were aware that I would do magic tricks like my friends' kids' birthdays or my own kids' birthdays. I would perform. No money, all gratis, free, just to create a nice atmosphere there. I would also perform for the naval charity. So somewhere a civilian lady called me up that afternoon, and said, Pravin, Sunday, I think when she called, it was Thursday or Friday. This Sunday, we are entertaining a group of kids. Will you come and entertain them? So yeah, it was a Sunday. I was not on duty. And since I was not doing anything for commercial reasons, I did not have to worry as people will report me or something like that, right? So I said, yes. Just I was keeping the phone down. We used to have those phones those days, table phones. Just I was keeping it down. The phone kept on crackling. So I thought there's something she wanted to say. So I picked it up and said, yeah. He said, hey, Pravin, you're doing that colorful thing, a red nose and all those things these days. Would you want to come like that? Children will be more happy. I got one more pasture to test out my new skill. I'd already started experimenting with colors and all those things. I said, okay. So Sunday, I reached that place in whatever full regalia, my costume, it was there. And once I peeped into the room, I took a step back. I was not sure I was prepared to perform for that crowd. Because there, inside that hall, were about 25, 30 children, all serious patients, cancer patients. Typical, those days, only a serious patient with a breathing problem or an infection problem would wear a mask. Not like today. Today, everybody wears a mask. If you're not wearing a mask, there's something wrong. There were masks, there were caps under which there was no hair, bald heads. Some attended people, some are on a wheelchair and all. Then I realized, have I done something wrong by even not asking that lady what type of a group do you have? I'll just give a small example. Suppose tomorrow I fall sick and you come to know Pravin is sick and he's in so-and-so hospital. You'll take your time whenever you find it convenient, you'll come and meet me. When you come to the hospital, you'll go to the reception, ask which ward is Pravin in. She'll tell you the ward number, bed number or room number. And you'll come directly there. You're like this. You're only looking for Pravin. Where is Pravin? Where is room number? So and so there, right? The entire hospital is invisible to you. You're only looking for me. The entire people sitting in the corridors, patients, families, miserable people, unfortunately, you'll not notice them. Not that you're not sensitive. You're very sensitive. But you right now are coming only to see Pravin. You meet Pravin, you give him that mandatory 2 Mosambis and 1 orange and 1 apple. And you say, get well soon. And you go back. Again, like that. You came, you went. Those people existed, but not for you for that time. Why? Because you came for me. Not that you did not have empathy for them, but you're not looking for them. You didn't have to interact with them. But here I was challenged with interacting with this entire group of children whose seriousness or the gravity of this disease I didn't know. One could have been just in a fresh case, one could be on a terminal stage. I had 2 options that time in my hand. One is to take a step back, call that lady out and tell her, sorry ma'am, I did a mistake. I cannot do this. Pardon me. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. And go back. Leave the entire crowd high and dry. Second choice was what the Navy usually teaches you, or the forces. But once you made a commitment, stand by it. And the training stood me in good standing that day. I took a step forward, a deep breath, and we went into the show. The show went on beautifully like any other thing. There was no differentiating from these children and other children that I meet outside. The same josh, the same enthusiasm, the same curiosity. And there was one particular child there, about 5-6-year-old boy, who was very curious and very comfortable in my presence. At times you see a clown, in person, you are likely to get intimidated. It's different to see a clown or a cartoon character on a TV or in your book. But when he stands right in front of you, must have seen at parties when there's a big mascot, some children get scared. They don't expect him to be there. They want him only in the book or the video. One child was so comfortable, he would play with me. He would go to the table, try to see what is my magic trick in the box, put his hand in my pocket. Very comfortable. A lot of pictures taken that evening. Everything went on well. We had the sandwiches and wafers and everything. Typical birthday party setup 20 years back. Everybody went from wherever they had come. For me, the session was over. I had come, I had done my job and gone back. 2 days later, that lady called me up. She says, Pravin, aaj ka paper dekha? There's something interesting. Page 7 or 8, something like that. 7, I think. This cat, this is, go, see, you are there. So quickly I sent somebody, got my copy, and we checked. And there I was in a black and white picture with that small child I mentioned, that curious guy, both of us there, and the NGO's name and all those things, spreading happiness and all those things. And then called her up and said, thank you so much. You made my day very, very special. I cut that out, laminated it, and showed it all around, and I became world famous. 20-25 families in my unit that time, and I was world famous. Evening, I showed it to my kids when they came back from their school, and after that, the matter ended. So we thought, but it did not. 2 days later, that lady called up again. And before she could say anything, I said, hey, I'm so sorry. You did a nice thing for me by getting me to that child and that show and see what has happened. I would like to say hello to that child and say thank you to him. See, I was not important. That child was important. The photo carried more of the child than me, right? How the child was enjoying with the clown. She says, Pravin, yeah, that's a good idea, but sorry, you cannot do that. That can never happen because the child is no more. A sweet little guy I meet a few days ago, and today is not there. And he is the instrument to make me popular, make me famous for myself. He gave me happiness. So we started talking about him. She said, yeah, he was terminally ill, but he had a lot of enthusiasm that day because of one reason. I said, what? She says, he had a list. All of us have a list, a bucket list.
Yeah.
I want to do bungee jumping. I want to do this. I want to do that and all those things. There was a short list he had. And out of that, one particular entry was meet a joker in a circus. I was neither from the circus. I was not a joker in the right sense. But he identified me with that. And he was happy that day, that one of his bucket list items was ticked off. And perhaps that is what gave him a closure to himself. And he left us all. It was a shock initially that what have I done? Had perhaps, us din agar hum log nahi milte, if I had not met that boy that day, perhaps his list would have been incompletely ticked and he would be living today or that day. But then the second thought that if he had not passed away, there would be so much untold and unnecessary suffering for him. The treatment, chemo, radiation, the anxiety and the stress for his parents. Perhaps because of my meeting, I just think, Providence or whatever, at my meeting, his entire journey was cut short to a quick end, and his parents and he were relieved of the further stress. Then I realized, yes, Pravin, this is what you should do. You should spread happiness to people who are deprived of it, who have no source to it, access to it, or perhaps everybody around you. Make them happy, even if it is at your cost. Navy has trained you, Navy has given you a lot of good things, but now it is your turn to give it back to the society. So it was not an overnight transition from a lieutenant commander, a gazetted officer in the Indian Navy, to a clown wearing outlandish colored clothes and a wig and a set of boots and all. But that's the story.
Okay, that is quite, motivation.
It's intense.
Yes, it's intense. Yes, intense is the right word. You had been a performer since throughout your age since 13, 14. And I really related with the part, putting your stamp here, because that's what I've done. That's what I've
Exactly.
done.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
I can see that. Yes.
Yes. And yeah, like as you said, the decision was made overnight. It was an impulsive decision, but then the
The
entire
preparation
transformation took
started.
time.
Yes.
Yes. So now one more question I have related to us, us teenagers, us children. Now we are at a stage where we are finding our passion, right? You said that you knew that your passion was magic, fooling people. So first of all, how do we as children, maybe find our passion, and how do we be good at that thing, and as you said, be successful at that thing, whatever our passion is? And it's not necessary we have to take it as a career, but then it should make us happy, right?
There was a great thinker called Bertrand Russell. He quotes, not verbatim, but something like this, that happy life, a good life as I see it is a happy life. Not that if you're good, you're happy, but if you're happy, you'll be good, right?
Yes.
And there's somebody else who also says, choose a job that you love and you'll never work for the rest of your life. So choose a job, choose a line where your passion is connected, right? And the rest of the life, you're not working, you're just enjoying your passion. Today, I'm not working. If somebody says, what are you doing? Are you working? I said, no, I'm not working, I'm enjoying. Passion, how does passion get ignited in you? Teenagers don't mind my saying this, but I went through the same phase. All of us do. The hormones are raging, you're growing, there's peer pressure, there's girlfriend problem, there's peer friends problem, there's studies problem, you're getting pimples, your hair is growing, you're growing taller, your clothes are suddenly not fitting you and all those things. And in all these things, you find your parents don't understand you. They do. But it's we, if I'm calling myself a teenager for a while now, it's I that do not appreciate that my parents have already gone through this. So it would be better for me to take their advice. May not follow it exactly in toto, but at least let me listen to them. Right? If I am blind and I seek the experience or a guidance from a blind person, both of us are destined to fall in a ditch. But if my guide has at least one eye, he will hopefully not let me into the ditch, right? So our parents, our teachers are not our worst enemies when we are teenagers. They have already tripped, fallen, recovered, and are stable on their line now. It's good to take their advice. For parents, I say, please do not push. Every child is different. Somebody made a comparison that day. Yes, if you had asked perhaps Sachin Tendulkar to sing like Lataji or Ashaji, he would have failed, right? And then you could have said Sachin has failed. No, Sachin has done extremely well, exceedingly well in his own profession or his passion. You can't expect a turtle to climb a tree. But he'll be good at diving underwater and all those things.
Okay, so that was the passion is something that comes to you, right? You have to, and as you quoted, you have to be happy. So then only then you will be good at something. You do not have to focus on being good. It just comes to you.
Good will
And
happen.
yeah. So regarding to this, you have done magic what since an age of 13, 14. How do you say determine to do that one thing always? Like you keep changing, but then how are you focused on doing that magic? Nowadays that we have a short attention span, it's one thing, the next second is the other. So how do we focus on that one thing?
Because perhaps so many avenues and technical gadgets available that our attention span has reduced. I am no different today. My attention span perhaps is as good or bad as a teenager. Okay, it's good that you caught me glued here for a long while now. Otherwise, I would have gone away searching my WhatsApp, kisne message kiya, kisne nahi kiya, and all that stuff. I'm happy you're also not doing that. We're talking to each other. But there has to be a purpose in what you're doing. Once you realize that Why should I practice? I used to practice card tricks for hours together, coin tricks, hours together. Even if there was nobody watching me, I would still practice as if in front of a mirror. They say when you become a magician or trained to be a magician, you practice in front of an audience, which is make-believe, a mirror. So that you're performing to the mirror, you're also seeing angles. Because there's nothing called magic as such, right? It's either sleight of hand or something, some gimmickry, some shady thing that I'm doing when you're not watching, or an angle which you cannot see. So I have to keep looking at myself at the mirror and see, okay, if I do this, will he see me? Will he see me? Will I see my dirty hand? Dirty hand in the sense if I'm hiding something. Okay, that way. So you got to constantly practice. You see, you practice not until you get it right, but you practice until you cannot get it wrong. So even if you're blindfolded in a dark room and if just a thermal camera observing you, you should be able to fool that camera. You can't see anything, but you should still be able to fool that camera. Because, I mean, see, a magician, what is a magician? Or who is a magician? He's only playing the role as an actor to be a magician. You're not magicians. You are what you are, right? Shaan, you're conducting the interview. You're not pretending you're conducting an interview.
Yeah.
When I say I'm going to do magic, I'm pretending that Pravin is now a magician and I'm going to pretend I'm a magician. But I don't tell you I'm pretending. But I'm pretending. I hold a magic wand in my hand and I say that's magic and it does magic stuff. I'm trying to convince and sell it to you. How will that happen? That will happen only with communication, verbal or non-verbal. And at that time, when I'm trying to convince you, tell you a story, trying to get you involved, at that time, if I'm going to see, where is my coin? Where is that bird that was hiding in my sleeve, perhaps? I lost it, right? Human tendency is when I look at you, you look at me. When I look at my hand, you look at my hand. And if I'm going to look, hey, where is that pigeon that I had hidden somewhere? Okay. It's lost. So I have to be such a perfectly well-oiled machine for that particular 3 minutes, 5 minutes, that I can talk to you, and while talking to you, I can do the dirty work and fool you. That can come only and only with mechanical practice first. Mechanics have to be thorough first. Psychology comes later. You have to give. You think when cricketers play a particular shot and off drive or a hook or something, they say, okay, page 63, left foot back, this thing, then I bend back and then swing my bat. No. They've practiced it so well. When they see the ball falling short and rising, they know it's either the hook or the pull, right? Or a duck, perhaps they just sit down.
It all comes from
that
practice.
comes by intuitive. Yeah. Yes, exactly. And that develops your intuition, your reaction. That's it.
Okay. So practice, yes, it plays a huge role, because you cannot learn something just by the book and be extremely good at it, right? You'll have to keep doing it again and again to build that muscle memory. Yes.
Right. Muscle memory, you said it.
Yeah. Now, regarding this happiness, you have been awarded the title of the ambassador of happiness, right? So related to that, like, what is happiness? What is it actually? And how do we stay happy ourselves? And you had said that being happy is good, like being good does not, you cannot strive to be good, but then how do you stay happy? Like in this current world, you see a lot of posts related to depression, etc., etc. So how do you stay happy?
If you ask me what is happiness, this clown will not be able to explain to you ever. How to be happy, I can explain it to you. How to make somebody happy. What makes me happy? Making the person across the table happy gives me happiness. Okay. How do I make people happy? Now I have to look at that. And I have devised my own methods to do that. First of all, recognition of the person. Where I always give a very standard cliche example of getting into a flight. When you're getting into a flight, you got your boarding card. You get out of the bus, you go to the boarding area where there's a ladder. There's a guy standing at the base of the ladder. He's not looking at you. He or she is not looking at you, looking down. You hand him the card. He tears the boarding pack. Half of it he gives it to you. One small tab he retains with him, right?
Yes.
His job has ended there. He doesn't need to look at your face, right?
Yeah.
But if that time you, instead of giving it directly to him, you say, hello, how are you today? You not just greeted him. He looks up at you. Who is this guy? Because for him now, he realizes that you don't think he's a robo or a scanning machine, but that he now realizes that this gentleman has seen me as a human being, as a person who talks and walks, and he's asking me, how are you? Which means he is concerned about me. I matter to him. And anything or to anybody whom I matter, I feel happy. And he'll be smiling for the rest of his shift. Right?
Yeah.
The same thing about saying thank you. In India, we've got a maid culture, maid servant culture. US, abroad, perhaps they don't have it. But when your maid comes and gives you a baba glass of water or milk or something like that, most of us are conditioned not to say anything to her. "Theek hai, rakh do. Thank you." Not even thank you, rakh do. If you say thank you, you whatever you call her bai, you call her mausi, you call her chachi, didi, auntie, jo bhi hai, और उसको thank you बोलो. See, she will be so happy. Ask her आपका बेटा कैसा है, बेटी कैसी है, घर पे क्या हो रहा है, vaccine लिया. You're asking her, you're concerned about her, right?
Yes.
You're showing her that I recognize you not just as a person who works for my house. You're a part of the family for at least this much time. The waiters who serve us, the valet people who take our car and bring them back. That is one typical example. You get inside, you finished a nice meal with your friends, you've blown up 5,000-10,000 rupees for your dinner. You come back, and when you give the ticket to the valet, he goes to the basement, gets your car, and now is the debate in your mind. How much should I tip him? 10 rupees or 5 rupees? Or perhaps 20 rupees. All of 20 rupees, right? We normally settle at 10. Okay. Which 10? The dirtiest note in your wallet. You're not going to use it anyway. And that also you very creepily fold it in your hand and give it to him while shaking his hand or taking the key back, the fob back, right? Why? First of all, I would feel I'm a little stingy person. There's no need to tip him. He's being paid for his job. Perfectly fine, right? I don't have to be mean by paying him 2 rupees or 5 rupees. But if I have to give him something, and that's what is tip? A tip is an appreciation of what he has done for me. So what I do is I carry small chocolates. They don't cost me more than 10 rupees each. And in the handbag, shoulder bag that I carry, there's always a bunch of them, which I distribute at random like this. And when I take out that chocolate from my pocket or the sideboard and give it to him, you should see the smile on his face. Because he doesn't have to hide it. He knows it's a chocolate. It's a legitimate thing. I'm not hiding it, creepily giving it to him. It's not a drug, say a cigarette or something like that. I'm giving it to him with both hands. He takes it. And at times I've had people saying, "Sir, aur ek do ghar pe aur ek bachcha hai." So I give him 2. 2 bachchon ke liye, ek tumhare liye. Right? And just imagine when he goes back home, how much happy he's going to be sharing those chocolates with his children. Or even one, telling, "I met somebody who gave me a chocolate. I have made him happy," is what I feel. He's going to give it to 2 more people, his children and his wife, and the chain builds up.
So
That
instead
is
of
how
just
I
giving
believe in spreading happiness.
you're sharing the chocolate, the sweet, like they just become happy, right? You're making them a part, you're including them.
Just saying thank you is a good enough thing to make people happy. Getting down the bus, just say thank you to the driver. He doesn't expect it. Who says thank you to a driver? Why? I've paid that Uber guy. I'm going. My trip is finished. But just try saying thank you to him. And see how much it makes of a difference it makes. This is happiness. Recognizing their human presence is happiness for them. Is what I feel. Doing something, going out of your way to make people comfortable is also what makes me feel happy. If I get up off my seat in a bus or a train, to even offer it to a youngster, forget an old lady or a young lady or a pregnant lady or something, that I have to do in any case. or an old man also for that matter. But if I can give it to a person who's carrying a little weight, he probably be younger than me. If he's carrying some weight in his hand, if I offer him a seat, he'll be so thrilled and happy that somebody gave him a seat, which today nobody does. मेरे को मिल गया ना बैठने के लिए, वो उसको मिल जाएगा बाद में, क्या है, मैं थोड़ी देर खड़ा रह सकता.
Caring about others, yes. So caring about them, not only if they are they're pregnant or old, just being
not only about them. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's just about making others happy, right? Like that they might need to sit, or just that they might have had a hard day, but and they want to sit. Yeah, so you just give up your seat.
Everybody has a hard day every day. We don't know how hard it has been for him, how harder it has been for him or her. But like somebody said, we are all fighting our battles, small as they may be. Who knows, somebody just started it, somebody is ending it. We all have our troubles. Nobody is without a trouble or a problem. We cannot make the troubles go away. We can make them easier, the fight easier. Yeah. This brings me back to that Dr. Clown character that we play. Happy, DrLaughALot, caring clown. Where I tell people, I call myself DrLaughALot, but I'm not a doctor, a medical doctor. I cannot take away your disease or your pain. But for those 5 minutes that I'm going to spend with you, I'll make sure that I'll make you forget that pain. I'll distract you. It's a distraction theory or a therapy. That I'll distract you from there. So that for those few minutes, you'll be releasing those nice endorphins, which will help the doctor to treat you. The doctors are doing a wonderful job of their own. My job is to aid them. I'm not substituting.
Not always that physical cure that you need, right? It's that mental happiness sometimes.
Yes. So, like I said, all people may not be comfortable with a clown. Children, even adults for that matter. Some adults are scared of clowns. So when you go to a ward, like I go to a ward in a clown costume or clown getup, DrLaughALot goes to a clown. He doesn't directly barge into a ward, sit on somebody's chair and start doing a magic show, or show him tricks or something like that. No. We respect that person's privacy irrespective of his age. Even if he's a 4-year-old guy, I will knock on his bed or his board or something like that. Hello, can I talk to you? I'm so and so. If he turns his face around or if he smiles, I know what to do. Why do I do that? The doctors, like I said, are doing a wonderful job, but they are so hard pressed for time. So when they come to a child at an odd hour, perhaps the child is sleeping when the doctor is going on his rounds. So the the sister just comes and says, okay, so-and-so, bed number so-and-so, this is the problem, this is the therapy we are doing, this is the medicine he is getting, and this is the recovery path, right? Yeah. He says, okay, continue this, discontinue this, tomorrow you can discharge, whatever the situation. But he has to look at 100 other patients. I have come focus only for one person, that particular boy.
You're giving them that
is what
time.
He should feel. Yes.
Yeah.
So I will read his name.
Yeah, a little time before you had said that when someone's at the hospital, you're only focusing on them and you're giving them time. But while the rest of the people are just there, they're waiting, they're maybe, just lying down. So, but when you're giving that your entire time, they feel good about it.
Exactly.
Yes. Now,
and then one more thing we do is when we go to, sorry. When I go to him, that particular child who's there, we'll call him Mr. X, Master X. Hey, Master X. Most naturally, we tend to ask, how are you? That is what we don't. As a caring clown or a doctor clown person, we don't do that. Because if he was good, he would not be there on that bed. So instead of that, I have a different way of asking. I say, hey, what happened to the doctor? Why did he call you here? So as if the doctor is sick and this young boy is the doctor and he's come to treat the doctor. Then he realizes, ये पागल लगता है आदमी, इसको कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है. He laughs. And that gives me an indication. Like I told you initially also, my magic never works, especially when I'm in a hospital. My magic never works until the child waves his hand or says a magic word of his choice or something. Only then magic happens. Because he is important. His magic is important. It's his magic, not mine.
That's how you present it. It's not anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not, concentration is not on what you do, but it's how you present it. Yes. So related to this, that we are almost nearing the end for the interview. So finally, do you have any advice? Yes.
A clown advice.
Do you have any advice?
Again, looking at you, Shaan, I mean, it's difficult to believe you're a teenager doing this. At my age, as a teenager, I would rather play cricket and go out. That's what I had done when I was your age. Because these avenues were not available to us. Today, there's so much of a field available to you that you need to explore. Like I said earlier also, you need to explore, you need to experiment, you need to weed out what is doable and good. Smoking is also doable. Weed is also doable. It's not good. Right? But then trekking is doable and good.
So you have to focus on what is doable and good. Yes. And that makes you happy. Yes.
And exactly, at the end of the day, it should make you happy and your parents comfortable.
Yes.
Perhaps if you go on a big hike or what is it called? Backpacking trip or something, your parents really may not be very comfortable with it today. But if they know you are with a decent group, a reliable group or something, they will encourage you, they'll support you.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your communication always open with your parents. Whatever phase of life you are going through, at whatever age, I'll say, forget teenagers. Keep your communication open with everybody around you, not just your parents. For parents, it is children, your peers, your cousins, your classmates, a little up and little down on the communication matters. If you don't communicate, misunderstandings creep in.
Yes, I mean, what you have to keep telling what you think, right? You not every time.
At times it might seem rude. Exactly. At times it might seem rude for the other person, you expressing yourself and telling, sorry, what you're doing is not right. But ultimately they'll come over it and around it.
Okay.
Otherwise, the clown really can't give much advice. Be yourself and be happy.
Yes. So, and is there any like us how we can help you, join you in something that you do and be a part of what you do in our own
I was itching for this question. Since you've been talking teenagers, I presume you're 17, 18 or perhaps not 19. When you
14.
hit the age of 18, you're 14.
Yeah.
That's when I started doing my magic. But you started doing what you were doing a little earlier, right?
Yes.
Okay. So as soon as you hit the age of 18, my sincere request to you would be to start or at least think about donating blood platelets, because this is one commodity that is not easily available in the first place. So many people depend upon it today, and unfortunately synthetic blood is not available which can match natural blood, right? Blood is once you start giving it, every 3 months you can donate it. Just make sure your blood group is not a negative rare group, then you got to be standing by only. Okay. This is one of the most wonderful things you can do. If you get into something what we are doing now, blood platelet donation, which they bleed you, they separate out the blood and the components and the platelets. They keep the platelets and they push back the rest of the blood into your body, which makes you a little less weaker, and you can recover in 15 days and re-donate after 15 days. Which means instead of donating blood only 4 times in a year, here you can donate at least 20 times in a year. So imagine how much help you're offering to others.
Small little way to, help others.
Every time you donate blood, if it is differently separated into 3 components, 3 different people are benefited out of it. So if you start a chain, your classmates, your friends, your cousins, your seniors started, just imagine perhaps a decade from now, there'll be no shortage of blood at all.
Yeah.
Similarly, a bit too early, but keep always the thought at the back of your mind that this body is something that cannot be so easily recreated in a factory. So if tomorrow I pass away, I have pledged, my family has pledged that I will donate every possible organ of my body for medical use. Could be transplantation to somebody else or for medical research. Because by burning this body or by letting it decompose under the soil serves no purpose.
That does make
Imagine
sense.
you got 2 kidneys, a big liver, so many things, eyes. Your skin is the biggest organ you can donate, but that is past after you leave. And after you leave, what is the use of these things?
Help
Nothing.
others. Yeah.
Help others. You'll be making so many families happy. If you just recently read, people, one person even donated his son's hand. He had passed away in an accident. His son's hand was donated to somebody else and transplanted. And then when they came to meet, they actually said, when I touch the hand, I feel my son there.
Can be helpful, and like you have passed away, but then a part of you still remains, still lives on in others.
Exactly.
You can
That is
connect
something
with
that
them.
has to be very strongly promoted. Blood donation, body organ donation, full body donation.
Yes. So I believe we could go on and on and on listening to you, but we are short on time now. So, Mr. Tulpule, it has been amazing talking with you today, and thank you for coming. I know that you're busy joking around, yes, and
It's a
having
bit.
and I'm really thankful for having a conversation with me. So, Mr. Tulpule, it has been amazing talking with you today, and thank you for coming. I know you are busy with, all joking around and with jokes, and it has been amazing having a conversation with you.
Thank you so much, Shaan. It's a privilege to be with you. I mean, I didn't know a 14-year-old guy could grill me so badly, but it was a pleasure talking to you and sharing my thoughts and everything. And for the rest of you guys, don't forget, that's ShaansLogic. That's his YouTube channel. Do follow that. Do that. And you can read what's written behind him also, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that for me?
Yeah, so don't forget to subscribe and visit my YouTube channel, ShaansLogic, and also listen to my
Yes.
podcast, Blij Talks.
Blij Talks is the thing. Follow him. He's got some wonderful content there.
Thank
Shaan.
you. Thank you. Bye.